Hey everybody, we're gonna set up a foam party today. First thing you wanna do when you get to the property is find the water source. So you wanna take the long hose with you and find the water source. We can use their hoses. We have these really nice hoses that are very flexible. Hopefully they're put away nicely and they're 50 feet. It really doesn't matter how long the hose is. We just need to get water to where our setup is. So we wanna know where the water source is, where the setup is going to be. We need to take into consideration wind, the day of the event as well, because when we're shooting with foam, the wind is obviously gonna take it. So we need to take into consideration where the party would like to be, the length of the hose, and the water source. So we're gonna show you first how to hook up the hose. So we're here at my house. We have a standard spigot. One end of the cord has your piece that's gonna screw on. So we're gonna go ahead and screw that on. If you run into issues with the spigot, I do have a key. If you're at a public place and there's a lock on it, we have a key that you can use. That's nice to have. So you wanna make sure that's nice. Go ahead and give it some power. Make sure you get water through. On the other side, you'll see I have this nice little setup here where we can stop the flow of water so you don't get yourself wet. But you'll see we could open it up and bring water through or close it off. That's the start. So here you can see we have our bin with all the equipment in there. Should be all housed in there. And then our tent, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get our tent undone. Open it up first. Open it up. Oh, I didn't undo that. So, housed in the tent, bag will be your two stands for the speakers as well as the tent itself. So, we're gonna go ahead and get this tent set up. Put the speakers to the side. Now, we want to just spread out the legs. And we're going to push each side up. They click as you push. We're going to start with the bottom. Now, spread this out, just by like this, using two arms and pushing. And then when you come in here, you'll see there's a little red button and a hole. So what you need to do is push that up until it clicks. The red thing fell off of here. You'll just pull that down tight. You just gotta push it up until it clicks. Push it up until it clicks. Pull that down nice and tight. Push it up until it clicks. The back of the tent, I'll have you come around to the front here. So the back part of the tent is going to be set up just like so. You'll see along the top of the backdrop, if you have issues with setting it up, there's a Velcro piece that goes right across the top. Set that up first, and then you could do the pieces down along the bottom here. We have 6 barriers, okay? There are these little plastic clips. You gotta be careful with those because we don't wanna lose those. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it and push each one of those barriers together so that we can create a little space for you to work safely and keep the kids away from the cannon because they're gonna wanna get as close as possible. So we're gonna set that up in a nice little space about 3 feet in front of your workspace. We're gonna start to unbox our equipment. So first thing we have is a small container with all of our electrical. So we're just gonna put that to the side. Next we have our large tripod for our foam cannon. So we're gonna start that. So we're gonna undo the tension on this, take it all the way down, and put the tension back on. We're gonna set that up right in the middle of our space here. We're gonna put the hose back in this area here. This is where we're gonna run our water to. We're gonna have our cannon right in the front here, maybe a little higher. Use your judgment here. Now this is operated on a spring here, a hydraulic. So when you loosen it, it's gonna go right up, okay? So you gotta hold tension down to bring it down if you want. So I'd start with it low and keep it low to get the cannon up here, okay? So we'll remove our signs. These should be already set up on the street of wherever you're doing the party of, and then sporadically around where the party is. Here we have our pump that's gonna pump the water from the water basin to the cannon. Get all of our cords out of here. We're gonna bring the cannon out. You wanna carry the cannon by these yellow legs right here, because the cannon part here is soft. You don't wanna pull on that, you could bend it. So pull right here. Cannon is pretty heavy, okay? So then I would recommend putting it down on the yellow to just kind of unravel everything and, you know, get it unraveled, okay? So I'm just getting everything unraveled here, organizing so that I can place the cannon on the tripod, okay? So basically here we have power going to the cannon itself, and we have power from the pump. So now we're ready to place the cannon on the tripod. So you can see there's a handle right here. I'm gonna grab that handle with one hand, grab one of the bases with the other, lift up the cannon, and we're gonna place this gray piece, slide it on. So now we have the cannon on the tripod, and it should be stable. And you could see we can move it up and down and then tighten, you know, as we need to. So now we're set up with our cannon and we're ready for next step. Now we have nothing left basically inside of our water basin. We're gonna bring the water basin over near the foam cannon, and we are going to hook up our water filling device to our water, okay? So our water filling device has a valve. When it's in line with the pipe, the water valve is open. When it's opposite, the water valve is closed. So we're gonna start out with the water valve closed like this, okay? This piece right here is going to go into our water basin. And this piece right here, it's very important you don't lose this. This is on our white PVC pipe, and it allows for the white PVC fitting to go into our valve. So we're gonna take this here and connect it. And you'll see that the gold fitting allows for us to fill that up there, okay? So now we have that fitting on. You wanna tighten it as much as you can so you're not getting water spraying everywhere, okay? So now we're gonna fit that right into our water basin, okay? Remember, we already have water on. So what you're gonna do now is you're going to turn on the water here, and then you see we still don't have water coming in, and that's because this is closed. So we turn this on and we'll get water filling into our water basin. So to start the party, we're gonna fill this up all the way, and that's gonna be our water basin where we're gonna pool water from into the foam cannon. So we can go ahead and put our pump in there to get ready for pumping water into the cannon for our foam party. As the water is getting filled up, you're gonna wanna set up your speakers, okay? So we have our two tripods for our speakers. You're gonna set them up on either side of your setup here, okay? So we'll get that tight, nice and tight there, so you're not losing that. Same thing on the other side. Nice and tight here. Okay. Frank can stop it. We're gonna get our speakers.
Thank you.
We're gonna set them on top of the tripods. You want them to be pretty tight. Obviously, wind is always a consideration when you're setting up these tripods. Power. Think about Wi-Fi if you're using Wi-Fi. But you should be able to use the cellular service on your phone to access the playlist from music, YouTube Music. Okay. And then there's a screw back here you could tighten to tighten that on. Again, you're going to want these pretty far away from anywhere where kids are because you don't want them to be running into them. So you're going to make sure you're tightening both sides. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our electrical cords. We're going to find our audio looking cable. Okay. And we're going to put our audios in. Okay. So we're going to, hopefully they're not all messy like they are here. Make sure we put them away. Not wrapped together, but wrapped separate. So, you know, the distance apart of the speaker is going to kind of partially depend on the length of this cord. So you plug one in there, and then you're going to plug one in over here. And then this is going to have to go into power. Now we're going to power up the electric. So we have our electric coming from our pump. We have our electric coming from our cannon that are both going to go into this right here because it has an on-off, and you'll see why that comes in handy. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. We're going to go ahead and plug this in, and then we're going to plug that into a surge protector that we're going to also allow for the power for the speakers to be placed. Do not want to put the power for the speakers on this plug here because you'll turn that on and off and you want to keep your music going. So we're going to plug that into extension cord there, and again we want this all away from the kids and away from the area where you're going to have water. So we've got all the power set up, and now we're going to run our Foam Daddy. I want to show you something real quick. We're going to really try hard not to have debris and other particulate matter in here. If you see a bug, you see some dirt in here, you know, try and get that out, because the last thing we want is for that to go into the pump and then into the Foam Daddy. That's reasons why, you know, we could ultimately end up having a defective Foam Daddy. So you want this filled all the way to the top. This is 55 gallons. And so what we're gonna have is 55 gallons to 1 gallon of Foam Daddy mixture. This is pre-mixed. The gel bags in the shop are concentrated. So they'll be pre-mixed into these right here. So you don't wanna put the gel right in. We have pre-mixed liquid. This is 1 gallon to 55 gallons. In a 1 hour party, you may have to go through 2 55-gallon jugs and then 2 of these. So you'll watch as this gets low, and again, turn your pump back on to fill it up as you go so you're not running into problems, okay? So again, we have power. So I'm gonna go ahead, just gonna put a little bit of foam in here, foam mixture solution, so you could see, you know, what it does. So I'm just gonna place it right on top. That's all it takes. I'm just doing a little bit. You would have put the whole thing in there, the whole one of these. Wait until it fills all the way to the top, then fill it up here. You want that already filled up in there, and then you're gonna turn the button on, you're gonna hear the pump. When the pump starts pumping, you're gonna start getting water into the foam daddy. That'll start regurgitating immediately. So that's why you need to have this on to produce foam. There's an on button right here. And then it'll start producing foam. So you'll get our foam is weak because our mixture is weak. But this gives you an idea. So now the goal is to spread it out for the kids to enjoy, up and down, all around. And the other thing that you can do is you can, again, tighten this up so it's focused on one area. Okay? You're always going to get that little bit of regurgitation. Okay? The other thing that's really important is this baffle. This baffle will change the flow. So what you're going to do, you put that baffle in there and you'll see it'll thicken up the foam. So if you want to thicken up the foam, thicken it up and slow it down, and use this baffle. And you can move it around and kind of change it up. And that's a foam party. You can turn it off. You turn it off, you're going to get water to come out. So better you go over there, turn off over there, and that'll turn off the cannon. Then go ahead and turn off the cannon so you're not getting all that water to regurgitate. So that's a foam party setup. And we're going to talk about cleanup. So, really we want to set up and clean up the same way. So, first off is all the extra foam. Basically, use this up. Use this up until it's completely gone. And, obviously your people are going to appreciate that. Obviously, we don't want to stay there for longer than, our allotted time, but we want to use up our foam. We're not going to use more than 2 of the 1-gallon jugs in a 1-hour time span. That's going to be our limit. So what you're going to do is go ahead and run this empty, and then we're going to go ahead and put some water in there to wash it out, and then just dump that right out. We now have an empty bucket, an empty bin, basically. So an empty bin, try and use it all up or just push it out, but we want to get all the foam out of there. So I do have an extra hose that you can use that's going to just give you plain water and just wash it out. And then this is nice too. If you have kids standing around you that are filled with foam, they want to get sprayed, or it's a hot day, just spray them off. If you have any of your equipment that has foam on it, you're going to spray it off with this hose here. So this is kind of like your spray off hose. So again, you're just going to rinse out the bucket and get that empty here. Okay, so now you're pretty good. All right, so now we're going to turn off our valve, which is going to turn off our thing there. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off power. Turn off power, unplug. We're going to take our cord and we're going to go ahead and put it right into our electrical bin. So all the electrical is together. Again, taking our electrical, putting it in the bin, taking the cord for the speakers, wrapping it nicely so it stays where it should so we don't lose it. Okay, we're going to take that, put it in the electrical bin, keeping everything dry, keeping everything separate. So now we have all of our electrical together. We can undo our speakers real easily here. Undo your speakers. And now we're going to take our foam daddy down. So foam daddy, you're going to grab it. Basically, again, from these yellow handles, pull up. You're going to place it right into the bin. Okay. And We're gonna do that by holding the yellow, slowly, 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 with the legs upward, place it into the bucket, okay? We're then gonna take our pump, placing it right by the yellow here on its side. Gonna put the hose in, your 2 electricals, try and keep upright so they're not down in water here. Keeping them upright. And then we're gonna take our hose from the hose source, drain it, and put it in. All right, last piece of housekeeping is that we want to put the poles for the speakers in the same container that the tent came in. So we're gonna place those in there. The other thing is that the backdrop is gonna go in this bag right here. And then the speakers will go separate. And then all these other bins are gonna go right in our bin here. So pretty much everything is self-contained. That's how it should look both when you pick it up and when you pack it up. Thank you.